Good morning, everybody. My name is Abdul Kadir Salam from the University of Lampung. Today, I want to present the result of my very current research in the University of Lampung. The title is the correlation study of several chemical extractants in tropical soil contaminated with copper. As you know, that in developing the analytical technique for soil element, there are three very important steps that we have to do. The first step is the development of chemical extractant. The second step is the correlation study. And then the third step is the calibration study. And what I did in my current research is the correlation studies conducted in the greenhouse. So the objective of this research was to evaluate the correlation between copper uptake and by several plants and soil copper extracted by several extractants in the greenhouse experiment. To conduct this research, we need a soil sample with differing increasing concentration of a heavy metal, and in this case is a copper concentration. So I use soil sample from an experimental plot that I set it in 1998 or 23 years ago, amended with heavy metal containing waste at a different level. And I took the soil sample into the greenhouse, and exactly about 200 grams of air dry soil sample was put into a 300 milliliter pot with a small hole at the bottom. And the pot was placed on a piece of wooden board, also with a hole to capillary moist soil sample at the soil fill water capacity through a cotton wick connected to a common water reservoir beneath. The plant seed and seedling was previously prepared, were planted on the soil sample after the soil sample reaching their fill water capacity. Plants were allowed to grow for 4 weeks at the soil fill water capacity. And the soil and plants were sampled at the end of the 4 weeks plant growth and analyzed for copper contents. The correlation coefficient between the copper uptake by each plant and the soil copper concentration by each of the various extractants were then calculated. And the result was astonishing. And as you can see from the sample in this figure, with the extractant of one normal hydrochloric acid with various plants, we found high correlation between the soil copper extracted and the absorption of copper by plant. You can see that the land spinach show a high correlation with the soil copper, also corn, and also thorny amaranthus, and also the um, Napier grass. So you can see that from this figure that one normal hydrochloric acid was best in predicting the concentration or the content of heavy metal, in this case copper, by land spinach, corn, and also Thorny amaranthus and Napier grass. And the high correlation was shown not only by that plant and also that extraction, but also by various extractant here and various plants. For example, you can see that the one normal hydrochloric acid show high correlation with the absorption of copper by almost every tested plant except for the thorny amaranthus here. And high correlation was also shown by various extractant and various plants here, as you can see from the high correlation for this relationship. And from this data, then we can conclude that the correlation coefficient and sensitivity factors demonstrated that nitric acid, hydrochloric acid, DTPA, ammonium acetate, and calcium chloride were good for predicting plant copper uptake. For lens peanuts and unbuffered TPA for Napier grass. The uptake of copper by amaranth was best predicted by ammonium acetate, and for chiasm and water spinach was best predicted by calcium chloride. And for corn, land spinach and Thornia amaranthus was best predicted by ammonium acetate, and lettuce and Napier grass was best predicted by 1 normal hydrochloric acid. Thank you for your attention.